Since last year, Supreme Master Ching Hai graciously allowed our association members to gather for an international seminar. It was a joyous occasion as Master and disciples reunited to meditate and pray for peace. During her visit to meet with our association members, Supreme Master Ching Hai also spoke of the teachings of past masters and answered the spiritual questions of fellow initiates. Throughout the ages, compassionate enlightened masters have urged people to surrender to the greater universal power by seeking the divine within, from which all other goodness and happiness follow. This message was echoed again in Supreme Master Ching Hai's discussion with the theme, Use Our Mind to Discern the Truth, with our association members in France on January 5th, 2009.
Supreme Master Ching Hai's lectures are not a complete meditation instruction. Please do not try alone. For free of charge guidance, please visit www.godsdirectcontact.org or contact any of our centers near you.
Once upon a time, long time ago, yes, there was a small town that has two parallel streets, you know, one on the left and one on the right, two streets like this, they're opposing each other. And now, a dervish, you remember already, Muslim? And he happened to pass by this town. So first he went on to one street and then he walked to another street because they're parallel. You go to one street first and then you walk to another street. When he reached the second street, some people noticed that his eyes were full of tears and they're running down. You know, tears will keep running down, running down. So suddenly somebody cried out and said, "Oh, somebody died on the first street." Because he saw the dervish coming from the first street, eyes streaming with tears. So someone on the second street said, "Oh, somebody died on the first street." He presumed, he thought that somebody had died. Okay. And then all the children nearby heard that, and they also joined in and said, "Oh, somebody died on the first street." And then they're all running back to their respective houses and saying the news, "Oh, somebody died on the first street," just like that. But they didn't even ask the dervish why his eyes were streaming. Can you guess why? One candy. Why?
It was windy.
Perhaps, yes, it could be possible, yes. Some people, when it's windy, their eyes streaming with tears. Or dirt, you know, anything. What else can it be?
It's karma.
It's such a karma. My God. So serious.
He's happy?
He may be happy. Yeah, it could be. You know, when you're happy, you cry, right? Possible. What else can it be? Any cook around here? Chef?
Spicy. Onion.
Onion, yeah. But I gave you already a hint. That's why. He was peeling onions before he went out. He probably was peeling onion, and maybe he was short of soy sauce. So he ran out to the next street in order to buy some soy sauce to cook for the Supreme Master Television. Who knows? Yeah, so in any case, that's what it was. He was peeling onions. And then he ran out to the second street, because probably the second street they have some shops which sells things that he needs, which did not have on the first street. Well, anyway, it doesn't explain here, but we could guess. He saw the dervish, he ran out to the second street with his eyes streaming with tears. And now, after a short time, all this screaming about somebody died on the first street reached every corner of the town. And everybody joined in. They were so upset and distressed and very confused. Because this is a very small town and only two streets and everybody knows everybody here. And almost like everybody is related to everybody in this small town. It's like a small family. So they all worry so much. Who could be the one that is dying on the first street? Could it be my cousin? Could it be my uncle? Could it be my aunt? Could it be my, sister or brother or in-law or whatever? Yeah, everybody was stressed. And in those days, they did not have telephone. Yeah, so they could not even call each other so fast to call whether you're okay. They just telling each other somebody died on the first street. That's it. And everybody was stressed out. And then nobody even dared to make an inquiry to who was dying and why. Why is it so much commotion? Nobody asked because they're all so busy, stressed out, listening to each other. Yes, somebody died, and then they go busy, go tell the other one. Somebody died on the street, and that person busy, go to tell the other one. And the whole town was full of news about this dying person. Nobody inquired about who died and why. And in town there was a wise man, and he was telling everybody, please calm down, at least go ask, why didn't you ask who died first and why? And then everybody was so, very, very stressed and confused, and they all talked at the same time, and nobody listened to nobody, and very, very noisy and chaotic, and say, all we know is just there is a deadly plague on the other street. First somebody was dying, and now there is an infectious disease going on the next street. A deadly plague is going on. Oh my God. As soon as they spoke and thus, this rumor fly all over direction again. And everybody now knew that there's a plague, deadly disease on the first street. Then everybody, the whole population of town thinking, that's it. This is the end of the world, as predicted somewhere. Finito, plague, infectious. Oh, we are doomed. And they all start crying a lot. First they cry for the dead person, and now they're crying for themselves and the doomed future that they're waiting. And then after a long time, after all the chaos and all the crying somehow died out a little bit, and a little bit order was restored. And then two communities decided that, okay, they should talk to each other. Finally. They have not even asked nothing yet. They decided that we have to talk to each other and move the leftover person to the other community quickly before they all die of the plague. That's what they think. So they begin packing belongings and calling children and calling cow cart, horse carriage, whatever, Yeah. And then, in no time, from both of the streets, the whole population was evacuated. The title says this is how a tradition was found, the founding of a tradition. So now, decades later, the two streets, the town is still deserted. Nobody lives there anymore. And not so far away, the two villages. That's probably born out of this plague, Yes. Each village has its own tradition of how it began as a settlement from a doomed town. Yes. Through a fortunate flight in remote times from a nameless evil. They all tell their story and tradition, how they found the villages. You see, this is one of the teaching found in the book of the teaching of the secret recluse in long time Muslim tradition. They just want to illustrate that people are so ignorant that they don't even bother to find out what caused what. Yes. It's very difficult to reason to them. Once they set their mind on something, even listen to false rumor, they still believe it. And then not just one person, but the whole town evacuated. Lead the blind, They are going away like that. And that's how a tradition has been found. Just like many, perhaps, other traditions. That's what the Master wanted to tell us in this story. This teaching was from Sheikh Kalanda Shah, of the Suravadi order. He died in 1832, not long ago, right? Might be a century ago. He still has a shrine at Lahore, Pakistan. Maybe it's not a true story, but the master was a true person and was existing at that time. Not long ago, eh? Yeah. Can you imagine? The blind lead the blind, huh? And both go wherever. So, in this teaching, Sheikh wants to tell us that we have to be discriminating. We have to use our discriminating mind to discern what is the truth and what is not. We cannot just hear from saying, in such a matter like even moving the whole town. It's possible that this is a true story, It's possible like that. Yes, because the rumor is getting bigger and bigger all the time. And people just listen and then they add their own imagination and the next person adds some more imagination, then it becomes very great a disaster and everybody moves, just like that. Similar to many belief systems. People just believe anything without proof, Yes. Without proof, without checking. Like, okay, God is light, but nobody see any light. Nobody see God. God is love. We don't feel any love for Him because we don't even know God. For example, like that, yeah? So even though there are a lot of evidence in the Bible or Buddhist scripture saying that Buddha have light around them, for example, and Buddha nature is in you, God is in you, and Buddha nature we know is light, and nobody see nothing. Just listening and then just continue whatever tradition that you happen to chance upon. And I said the blind lead the blind, and then, forever it's like that. And when somebody come along and say, I tell you what, I show you what you were reading there, and they would think, not possible. In my tradition, there's no such thing. The tradition has been passed on ever since my great-great-great-grandfather. It cannot be wrong. And you just came along today and you say, you can prove it? No, not possible. Yeah? It's like that. It's a sad story, Sad affair. But it is true in this. When the prophet was alive, they didn't have that much big temple anyway. Most of the prophets don't ever have anything. Mostly don't have. Jesus walked bare feet, Buddha begged for alms, Muhammad running away all the time, running from persecution. All the Sikh masters, same. And any other master that I know of, even. So, just like that. So, mostly in every tradition, there's not many people who understand the truth.
It is a joy to have you with us today for Between Master and Disciples. Please join us again next Monday for part 2 of Supreme Master Ching Hai's discussion, Use Our Mind to Discern the Truth. Animal World, Our Co-Inhabitants is up next on Supreme Master Television, right after Noteworthy News. Please stay tuned. Heaven's blessings to you and your loved ones for evermore peace and happiness.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/BMD.